okay. Um, I just wanted to do this video sort of raw and untamed, and not have to do any editing or anything like that. I also wanted to do it from the '80s room. But I mean, I just threw it on here live. If people want to come on, that's great. I'll talk to them. If not, that's fine too. I just wanted to talk. Really, I just wanted to sort of talk about what's going on. Haven't talked, quote unquote, one on one for a while, so I figured I would do that now. There's a lot going on, and I just wanted to touch base with folks, and yeah, let you know what's up. So, um, first off, new people, uh, hello, and thank you for finding the channel. Thank you for enjoying the channel, sticking around. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for interacting with us. If you have been interacting with us, I really do appreciate it. Um, you may be wondering what the channel really is, and I get it. The channel is initially created to talk about my life growing up in the '80s, and the memories that I had and the memories that I still hold on to, and all the things that I love from that time period. Um, I was born in '77, and I spent the entirety of my childhood in the '80s. And we know, '80s kids know how truly amazing it was, and the pop culture, and everything was happening new, and everything was being sort of marketed towards us, and it was a magical time. And so movies, music, television, food, fashion, all of that was such a huge it was such a huge pop culture explosion, and the time was really changing, and everyone was changing, and it was just a really wild, awesome time to be alive. And I haven't let that go. I'm still very much obsessed with that time period. I can remember back from as far as 4 years old, um, and you know, pretty much everything that was happening from four on. I can remember. I have vivid memories. I also have a lot of photographic, memories, proof. I've got a lot of video because at a very early age I started recording a lot of things. So I have that with me, and nothing's ever really left me as far as the '80s were concerned. Even going into the '90s, starting my teens and into my 20s in the '90s, I never really changed. I stayed the same. It was the same Seaver, the same stuff that I loved, and that has continued to this day. It's you know everything '80s sort of still informs who I am as a human being, um, and that's primarily what the channel was. But even from the get go, I knew that it was going to be a whole bunch of different interests for the channel. I just wanted to explain a little bit about that. I mean, when you first come to the channel, there is that main trailer that sort of it's a long trailer, and it goes into everything about the channel. But I think for old folks who have been here for so long, um, and certainly the new folks, I think you might be wondering, why isn't there a lot of what's been happening with the '80s content that that you used to love talking about. And it really isn't that it's going anywhere. Um, I if you watch the channel, if you've watched all the videos and sort of know who I am as a person, I very much love bouncing off of somebody else. And it can be tough to find somebody else who has the time to participate in this stuff with me. Um, it's a revolving door of people who do this with me. It's my family, my friends, when they can, and I try to, when I can get a certain amount of people, I try to bank a bunch of episodes, shoot as many as I can so that there's some in the barrel ready to unleash every few weeks. Um, and it can just get tough. And another thing, uh, it's I am friends. Not listen. I also have friends that are my age. I have a couple of friends that are a few years older than me as well. Um, but the majority of the people that are in my life are younger than me, and we might not hit the same point in the 80s to where I am reminiscing and talking about a certain thing that I loved so much, and that other person might not. They might be like, well, that's either 4 to 7 years behind you, Chris. Like that wasn't my experience. And I try to bring it all, really, but I think that's an area that I guess I can expand with when I do have guests on and I'm talking about things. Because, like, for the most part, I try to talk about the things that happened to me and meant something to me. What movies I love, what television shows I love, cartoons I love. It's very specific to my tastes and what I experienced. You know, early on, I would get messages about, like, hey, why aren't you talking about this certain thing? And it's because that certain thing didn't appeal to me. It wasn't something that was either appealed to me, or it was on my radar, or I might have, half-assed watched it, or been a part of it, or played with it, or whatever it was. It wasn't something that was close to my heart. So I tend not to talk about those things. Um, so it can be tough to find somebody uh, who's right there with me and understands and gets a lot of the things that I'm talking about and can bounce off me on that certain subject. And that's fine. It's just me needing to expand what the show can be and talk about those other things. Like I mean, I have done it, and you can go back and watch. I have friends, like I said, who are 7 years younger than me, and beyond that, I've got friends who are 13, 14 years younger than me, um, and it's interesting to find out where their sort of 80s love came from, because truth be told, the majority of everybody who hangs out with me and who is part of my group, my extended family, if you will, um, they're all 80s lovers too, and whether or not they grew up in the 80s, or you know were a part of it as it was happening, they came to it in a different way, whether it be siblings, throwing down the the memories and the passion of what the 80s were, whether it be family, like mom and dad, like pushing those things on you as you're growing up. And so I do find it interesting and fun to hear those perspectives and how certain properties of the 80s came to them, and why do they love them so much, and how did they come to that love. And that's cool. I do like that. but there's a lot of subjects that I do want to get into, but I would prefer to have a guest with me. I would prefer to have somebody to bounce that particular thing off of, and see if there was a common ground or not. Not that I clearly, not that I mind doing these videos alone. I just prefer to have somebody right there with me, you know, who we can just interact, and it can make the episode a little more lively than just me talking to the camera. But some of you like that as well. Um, and I've noticed, I do get comments, or I do get private messages that say like, "Hey, when are you going to talk about something '80s again?" Because the channel really is an amalgamation of everything that I love. So you're going to get a lot of. Listen, I've been making films. I picked up a video camera in 1984. I was 7 years old, and I've just been making backyard movies ever since. I started low budget pictures in 1991. I started Warlock Home Video in 2011, and I've been making comedy horror films for 33 years. But even before that, like in the 80s, just picking up the camera and going with your friends in the backyard and stuff like that. So, uh, making movies is a giant part of my life, and I talk about that as well on this channel. Fans of my films come to this channel for that information. Um, and I certainly promote the stuff that I'm doing on this channel. It's my channel. I can do whatever I want. It isn't monetized. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to have fun, to talk about the things that I love, and interact with like-minded people. That's it. Um, and so there's a lot of filmmaking talk. You're going to get a lot of that on this channel. Um, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it, and you can wait for the next. My hope is that a lot of you stick around. You know what I mean? Like you stay subscribed, and you stay plugged in to what we're doing, and at some point you're going to get a video on here that you appreciate, and then you can interact with me about. So, and then again, outside of the filmmaking stuff, I am a huge horror fan, sci-fi fan, fantasy fan. So I like to talk about all that stuff. I like to do, mini reviews or collections, or show off and talk about a specific horror film or things of that nature. Not necessarily connected to the '80s. Um, and then there's music stuff. A huge ska fan, and we've talked about ska, and it can go crazy. I mean, we just did it's called SOV Vigilantes that I just started, and that's just for me and my buddies Andrew and Clint to talk about our love of shot on video horror movies from the '80s and '90s and beyond. And again, it connects to me as a filmmaker and how that stuff inspired me, and me making those shot on video films as well. Um, and it's just another nugget. It's another part of the channel, and maybe you'll be interested in it. Maybe it's the first time you're even hearing about what shot on video. Like, ew, or you may be fascinated by it. And we want to give some recommendations, and talk about why we love that style. So that's on here. So I know that there's specific people who are subscribed to this channel who just really want me to stick to all the '80s stuff. And unfortunately, you know, that's not going to happen. Um, just due to everything that I love and everything that I want to talk about, everything that excites me, you know. But hopefully you stick around, because there will be '80s talk again. Um, and people really like the spotlight videos and the room tours and whatnot. And I think about doing those almost daily. But things just aren't, for me, things just aren't ready to pinpoint yet. I'm not ready to do that spotlight just yet. It could be based on I'm waiting for something to come in, as in like maybe a figure or a Blu-ray or a poster or something that I can add to whatever the subject is, and then I can talk about it. You know, I normally I've been doing this for a while, since at least 2016, but I like to do the room tours every year, and we have different rooms in the house. You know, I'm in the 80s room. We have a There's a game room. My wife has a game room that's all just her video games from the 90s. Well, it's got a bunch of 80s games in there as well. Those are a lot of those are, you know, the stuff that I love. But you know, 99% of everything in that game room is all her. She's a huge gamer, and you know, she's always like, I want to show this. I want to show my game room too on the channel, but it's in shambles. You know, she needs to. She really needs to get it prepped and ready to be shown. But it's a cool room, and she loves it. It's just kind of all over the place right now, and we do want to do that. But so we've got that game room. We've got this 80s room. Downstairs is where we have a lot of the Star Wars and sci-fi stuff in a big open room down there, where I edit my movies and edit these videos and whatnot. That's downstairs, and then we've got the theater room, which is our home theater setup, and also the horror room. Pretty much all of the horror stuff is down in that big, you know, basement, theater movie room. And so there's always, you know, little things that I want to keep adding or want to change before I do another tour of those rooms. Like I'm sitting in this room now, and there's things that I've wanted to do to this 80s room before showing it off, but I can't find, like, there's certain shelving that I want. I like to rearrange every, you know, maybe 6 months to keep things fresh. Um, and there's things I want to do, and I keep holding off, you know, showing the room and spotlighting certain things. But I will get to it. I will get to it. You know, I've been asked, hey, why don't you do like a spotlight like you did many moons ago, years ago? I did a mask spotlight, Mobile Armored Strike Command, from 1985. It's one of the toys that I loved growing up, and I love to this day. And I did a whole video just spotlighting that. And I get asked a lot, like, hey, when are you going to do another, you know, toy that you love spotlight? And I want to. I really do. It's just, I don't know if I'm waiting for a certain something, or, you know, I could see me doing it, and then, you know, 2 weeks down the road, I get another piece to the collection puzzle. And it's like, oh man, I should have included that. So I don't know. It's my ridiculous brain thinking about, but I could have done this, and I could do this, and maybe I should wait until I know I'm 100% gonna have this complete. Like, um, collection wise, I also am not a completist. I only collect, as far as vintage stuff, I only collect really the stuff that I had growing up, or the stuff that I wanted really bad and never got. Um, I don't do full on complete completist collections, because I don't care that much. Part of the enjoyment and joy that I get out of collecting is finding those things that I had as a child, um, and that feeling that it brings back. You know, um, so I don't need, you know, every piece to the puzzle. It just That's not how I collect. Um, but I will, man. You know, because like there's certain toy lines that I absolutely love. I adore them, and whether it be vintage and some of the stuff that they're doing with the modern toys uh, associated with that brand is exciting to me, and I do want to show that off, you know. Um, and I will. I'll get there. I will get there. I need to do a few more things before I do those certain spotlight videos. But I'll get to it. I promise. Because I want to do it too. Because it excites me and it makes me smile and it makes me happy. And if other people can connect to it and other people are like, oh wow, I haven't seen that thing in a long time, that's exciting. That's another memory open, and it could be a great memory for somebody. Um, and I love that. There's still bits and pieces that I need to get from certain lines. And that was one of the great things about the '80s is there were so many different toy lines just being pummeled into us kids. Um, and I think everybody had their favorites, and then you'd get the sort of off the beaten path line. Maybe not all of them, but like if it wasn't a family member, then it was like a friend's mom for giving you a present for your birthday or whatever. And it just happened to be from a different line, that you didn't really have like a whole shit ton of, but you had some of them. I think of like supernaturals or visionaries, or the inhumanoids. I had those wheeled warriors. I had those toys, but I didn't have a lot of them. Those weren't like lines that I would seek out. They were just like random gifts from people, and so those lines I don't care too much about. I'm not connected to them as much. While I can still think they're cool, and I can go to a toy show or a toy shop and pick up one of those toys, and I'll get that tiny bit of nostalgia, like, oh, I remember the ones that I had. It doesn't it doesn't affect me like something like Masters of the Universe or the Kenner Star Wars line or the real Ghostbusters. Or even to me, Centurions were amazing. Sky Commanders were amazing. Bionic Six were amazing. Voltron, you know, and those are ones that I need to get back into my life, and they're also unfortunately the ones that are really hard to collect because nostalgia taxers make it hard. Um, they're really laying on that nostalgia tax thick, and it can be ridiculous uh, shekels that you're laying out just for a piece of plastic, and so it can be tough. You know, it's where do you draw the line of having that piece of childhood back and fucking breaking the bank to do it. Um, so, but there's lines like that I do want to get and sort of complete what I had. You know, um, I want to talk about Thundercats. I'm almost ready to really get thick about um, what the Thundercats meant to me. Um, and I'll do that. That'll be a specific episode. That'll be talking about the cartoon and any of the merch and definitely the toys, and what is my connection to Thundercats today. You know, I will do that. That will be a specific episode. So it's all coming. It's all coming. And then there's the movie stuff. Um, that also takes up a huge part of my time putting together these projects. Right now we're about 3 weeks away of ending the campaign for Whalesville Nights. Um, there's a GoFundMe up there right now. Um, and Whalesville Nights is a very specific and niche and unique thing, and I get it. And it's, I'm actually surprised at how well we have done considering what we're trying to make, which is a very specific thing, and only specific people would probably get it and enjoy it. But um, Wellsville Nights is a teen. It's an '80s and '90s teen soap opera parody of shows like Nickelodeon's 15 and Degrassi Junior High and 90210, Swan's Crossing, things like that. Very dramatic, over dramatic, you know, teen soap opera shows, all shot to tape. Um, and so we're poking fun at that, and then adding elements of horror, like Dark Shadows, cheesy horror, of course. Um, and that's a very that's a very specific thing. So I'm grateful for the people who have donated and have wanted to see this happen. We shot the pilot over 2 years ago now, um, and uh, I'm raring to go. I'm raring to get back into shooting more episodes because it was so much fun, and the cast were great, and everybody really brought the script to life the way that it was supposed to be, and we did a great job. But and then there was also things that I recognized that could be changed, and so going forward, we have 7 more episodes written, and they're ready to be shot. So we're just, at this point, we are definitely shooting 2 more episodes, so episodes 2 and 3. But we're hoping that we can at least get a little more budget in these last 3 weeks to get to where we can shoot episode 4 as well, so that we can release the first 4 episodes, which would be the first half of the first season. It's an 8 episode season, season 1. So we're hoping to do that. And if you can, go to GoFundMe, Wellsville Nights. Um, and if you want to donate, that would be amazing. Anything helps. If you donate $25, you can get a hold of me, and we'll send you the Blu-ray of the pilot, the first episode. We did make a certain amount of Blu-rays for that purpose. Um, so if you want to, you know, help out that way, that's awesome. And you can get a hold of me and say, hey, I donated $25 to the campaign. I would love a copy of the pilot, and you just give me your address, and I'll send it out to you. Um, but yeah, we've got 3 weeks to go on that, and then it needs to be shut down, and heavy pre-production needs to begin, because we're scheduled to shoot at the very end of July, and we have so much to do. Um, and we've been trying, but because the campaign has been so slow, and the way that they dole out the donations to us, we haven't been able to get as many things and pay for as many things as we need yet. So, you know, come June 1st, we got to get cruising on it. But we have that, and then like last summer, I shot a new feature. I believe it was my 65th feature in 33 years. Um, 65th. I've done 65 features and shorts combined. It's not a full 65 features, but it's all mixed in there. But so I guess my 65th project, if you will, written and directed by me. Um, and I'm really excited about it. I would love to talk about it, but our producer, J.R. Bookwalter, will not let us talk about it yet. Um, it's still in post stages. It still needs color grading. It still needs a 5.1 sound mix, which he is handling. Um, And as soon as he says, hey, we can talk about it, and he puts together a trailer to promote it, we will do that. I know we're going to do some theatrical screenings for it. We're going to go around the country and show it at a bunch of, you know, local indie theaters, movie theaters, and before it goes physical media, which I would assume will probably be like a fall release for the physical media, I would think. And, you know, sometime in the summer, we'll launch this theatrical road show, maybe. We'll see. Um, but I'm very happy with it. It's very funny. Again, the cast kicked ass, and it's great. And I can't wait to talk about it and, you know, do videos about it and promote it and whatnot. But we have that, and then we have a slate of productions that will. We have another movie that might happen in October of this year called Radikill. We've been planning this fucking movie for 5 years, 6 years now. Um, and if it doesn't shoot at the end of this year, then it's definitely going to be the first thing we shoot next year. And then right after that is The Curse of Frank Wolfula, which is uh, a Chris Seaver version of a Hammer horror film, and that is exciting to me. We also have I Was a Young Adult Sex Mutant from Outer Space, um, which is a an homage to the 1989 Dave Dakota film Doctor Alien, and then we have Death's Gate '88, um, and that's all 2025. You know, so we've got a lot of things planned. Um, Things are, you know, rocking and rolling, and in that time we'll have those first 4 episodes of, hopefully four, we'll have those episodes of Wellsville Nights up on Tubi, um, and probably YouTube, both of them, reach as many people as we can, and hopefully get like a fan base going for that show, so that we could launch another campaign maybe at the end of next year and shoot the next 4 episodes of the show in 2026. We'll see. I don't know. All of that is up in the air, but there's a lot going on. Um, so it's better to be busy than not. Uh, but that is also another reason why you don't get a consistent flow of video on this channel. So it's pretty awesome to me that the numbers keep going up, the subscriber numbers keep going up, and we still seem to have an audience here. So I appreciate that. I thank you so much for the people who are sticking around. It does mean a lot. Um, so thank you. And spread the word. Tell your friends. You know, let everyone know what's going on with Warlock Home Video, Loja Pictures, It Crept from the '80s, whatever, all that good stuff. Um, but yeah, and then you know, I hear you, '80s warriors. Believe me, I know where you're coming from. I am, you know, I live and breathe the '80s, so it's still here with me. It's happening. It will never go away. I'll always be, you know, born in the '70s, raised in the '80s. I'm always going to be an '80s kid. I'll never let it go. I am one of those people who does not think the word nostalgia is a nasty word. Uh, I do not think hanging on to that past is a bad thing. I can live in the present. I'm living in the present. I love a lot of things that are happening in the present. I love my life. I love my family. I love my friends. I love my wife. I love my kid. I love everybody who is in this present. Um, but listen, man, there is, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing wrong to hanging on to your past. Um, the '80s were a wonderful time, and if given the chance, if time travel were ever a thing, um, and I know it's possible, But if it were ever a materialized thing for us to do, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'd go back because it truly was amazing. And everything that I do in life is in some form connected to that time period. And it informed who I am as a person. Um, and so I'm never going to let it go. It's always going to be with me, and it's always going to be a huge part of who I am. And I'm always going to talk about it and, push it. And, listen, 9 times out of 10, what movies do I watch more than anything else? I watch 80s movies. Um, I do the Saturday morning sleepover. And if folks don't know what that is, they can check it out below. But, you know, I curate 8 to 10 hours of nothing but uh, 80s and early 90s TV, cartoons, commercials, music videos, and oddities, and I edit it all together. And we pick a Saturday out of every few months, and we go into the theater room, and about 15 of us just sit there and do a whole day of nothing but childhood nostalgia. That's it. We just enjoy it, and I still do that. And we've been doing that for 7 years, um, and it's awesome. It's such a it's such a blast to the past and huge smile on my face, and it gives me those warm and fuzzy feelings. And that's what it's like being in this damn room. It's a time capsule. It's I love to go back, and I guess in a way it is a time machine. Any piece of your past is a way for you to sort of go back in time mentally and relive those moments. You know, there's smells, there's sights, there's tastes um, that just propel you back, and I relish it. I bring it on. There's times where I will tear up because of those things, because of that feeling. Something may have hit, something may have triggered it, and I just start to tear up, and it's just to me it's a wonderful thing. But it can also, it's like a god damn, I wish I could just go back. I just want to go back. So everything that I'm doing that's 80s centric is a way for me to hang on to that time. It's a way for me to relive those times, and I enjoy it. And life is short. It doesn't matter. I'm about to be 47 years old. I don't care. I've never been an adult. I adult in the places that I need to adult, but that's few and far between. I'm always going to be a big kid. Um, and I love it. I have no shame. I don't care. I don't care what people think. I don't care. I've never cared what people think about me, what I do, what I love. You shouldn't. Who cares? You do you. Enjoy the things you love. Worry about yourself. I'm over here smiling and having a good time. So, I don't know. Dig it. You know what I'm saying? Dig it. Um, what else can I talk about? What else was on? That was something at the tip of my nub that was I did want to bring up. Hmm. Tell me. So, what was I going to say? Hmm. I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to shut down this live stream, and then I'm going to be like, oh damn, I remember what it was. Um, hmm. What's going to hit me? Is it going to hit me? I don't know if it's going to hit me. Damn. Well, what do you do? All right, guys. that was it. Just wanted to chat, lay out some stuff, um, do it in real time. Um, if you got stuff that you want to say, if you got some suggestions, lay them out to me. Throw them in the comments. Um, Let me know if there's specific things that you want to see, if you want us to talk about. Um, if there's like a series that's on this channel that you want us to bring back or pick up again. I know movie wise, we're going to be doing some making a crapster piece episodes, hot and heavy. We've got uh, three different ones lined up coming up for specific films from my catalog. Um, we've also a new SOV Vigilante is going to be going up. Really cool episode. Uh, we got our guest Todd Cook on, who is very special to me, a person who had a huge impact on my movie making career. Um, and he doesn't do a lot of interviews. He doesn't do a lot of on camera interviews, so that's going to be sweet. Um, so yeah, we'll see some Todd Cook action going on here. Oh, somebody just say something to me. I don't know. I can't see it because of the way this is, guys. It popped up briefly, but I don't know what you just asked me. So I'm sorry. Um, Sorry, man. Yeah, it pops up briefly, and I couldn't read. It was so fast. It just came up and then went down. So, because I'm doing this on my phone, um, you did ask a question, so I'm sorry. I can't answer it. Maybe I can answer it in the comments. Okay, I saw that. You have failed me for the last time. Jim, hello, Jim. Well, that popped up and stayed there for a little bit. Um, uh, yeah, see, I can't. Yeah, they're just coming up so fast. So, anyway, I will try to answer any questions in the comments if you guys do have them for later. Um, I was asking if you had seen the YouTube channel Horror Timelines. No, I have not. Uh, there you go, Jim. I answered that question for you. I saw it. I have not heard of Horror Timelines. Maybe I have. I don't know. What is it? But what do they do on the channel? Um, so he has covered a few of your movies and seems like a fan. All right. Is he accurate? Yes, there will be more Crapster pieces. We have three ready to rock. One with Nicole LaRoche, um, one with Casey Bowker, and one with Meredith Host. I think we'll have one. We might have one. We might have one with Debbie Rochon coming up too. She has to get back to me on that one. But because we've got a lot of anniversaries coming up. Same thing with Bobby Heckman and I. We just put up a movie from '84, a couple movies from '84, and a couple movies from '89 on the channel, and we're gonna be doing a bunch of parts for that because both '84 and '89 have some amazing films that we love, and they're both celebrating milestone anniversaries this year. So we wanted to do a series of those. As far as this Horror Timelines guy, I don't know. like, and I mean, what does the show entail? I mean, does he? How does he know what the timeline is of my movie? You know what I mean? Like, where is this info coming from? Nobody has ever contacted me. I gotta say, like, a lot of stuff that's out there, guys, about my films is like kind of just shitting in the wind. It's uh, like unless you go to me, who's gonna give you the 100% accurate fucking info about my films and the making of my films and what it's all about, what they're all about, and what those actual timelines are, then it's a fart in the wind. It's probably not, you know. Are you interested in the new Garfield movie? No, I'm not interested in the new Garfield movie at all. Um, Garfield or Heathcliff. Garfield, I only watched like the holiday specials back in the day. I definitely watched Heathcliff. Um, I watched his show often, um, but they're both something that I don't really care about. Like, I own a lot of '80s TV and cartoons and whatnot, and Heathcliff is not a part of it. Certainly, neither is Garfield. Um, but every year, you know, I watch the Garfield Christmas special. I watch the Garfield Halloween special. You but so as I was saying, even on like the IMDb, I have no idea who puts shit up there. I don't. I am not a fan of IMDb. I have I haven't been a fan of IMDb in a very long time. So um, I know that like anybody can post shit up there. Uh, so I'm not 100% sure who's putting any of my info up there. Uh, you know, it's annoying. It can be very annoying. Um, but what do you do? You know, if anyone wants the nitty gritty and wants to know what the fuck the accurate history of me and my films, you just come to me. Or there's a documentary, guys. There's a documentary. Filmmaker named Zach Oliveris made a documentary about me and my friends who make these movies. And it's a very, it's a, you know, it goes through the history. It really chronicles from my birth in 1977 to up until he stopped shooting, which was 2021. He spent 3 years of his life and all of his money, and you know, he made a documentary about me and stuff, and you can find that even things from this channel show up on IMDb somehow. That's fucking stupid. Like, I don't know. Again, you know, who knows? Um, but anyway, it's a great chronicle of everything that I've done, and um, I'm glad I said yes to having a documentary be made about us, and Zach Oliveris made a great documentary. Very inspiring to, you know, if I hadn't already been making movies and was the subject of the film, I'd watch this doc and be like, holy shit, I want to do this. You know, if you already have a passion and that's something that you wanted to do, then seek out Zero Budget Heroes, The Legend of Chris Seaver and Low Budget Pictures. That is free on Tubi. It's also on Amazon Prime. And you can get physical copies from Zach Oliveris and his zodocfilms.com. That's ZODOC films.com. Yes, thank you. He says it was a great watch. Um, but yeah, thanks for the folks who are just popping on now. I don't know if you were lingering before during the last 49 minutes, but um, thanks for popping on and wanting to chat a little bit. Um, I can keep chatting. I was about to shut it down, but if you guys want to keep asking questions, um, I'll answer, I guess, as they're popping up and I can see them. I can catch them, um, but if not, I'll just go. You know, curious if you have any foreign film recommendations that fit with your general sensibilities. Token just want to say hi. Hey, Token. Um, yeah, I mean, I like a lot of Italian horror films. Um, I like a lot of the Argento and Fulci stuff, obviously. Um, I like Hong Kong action films. In the early '90s, there were a bunch of catalogs. There was Catalog of Carnage, there was Film Threat, there was Blackest Heart Media, um, and they offered uncut VHS copies of a lot of these films that uh, you know America just weren't offering to people, and so I would mail order a lot of stuff. I would import a lot of VHS um, from these catalogs, and so I'd get to see a lot of these movies that nobody heard about, but that I was interested in. Um, and so I fell in love with a lot of that stuff. Uh, yeah, Japanese horror films, but Hong Kong action films a lot. You I think the Heroic Trio is super fun. Its sequel, The Executioners, both shot very much like Breakin' and Breakin' Two, both shot in the same year and released in the same year. Um, but those are super fun Hong Kong action films. The Bride with White Hair is amazing. The early Ronnie Yu stuff. Um, you know, I like that stuff. A Chinese Ghost Story. My favorite Fulci film is The Beyond. Yeah, Ricky O was amazing. That was one that I did import. I did import. I imported an uncut uh, VHS of that. I think that I got that in 1995, and we loved it. We loved it. But I was also getting like, I mean, they were offering stuff like the uncut version of The Burning and the uncut version of Friday the 13th back then, on VHS, and I had all of that stuff. I ordered a lot. I mail ordered so many movies from those catalogs. I miss those catalogs. They were great. Now it's just, it's all at your fingertips, but there was something special about those. You know, uh, yeah, I liked a lot of the really gross, weird, bloody anime from back then. 92, 93, 94. That stuff was pretty awesome too. And again, you could get those uncut versions of it. Yeah, City of the Living Dead's great. Yeah, the Fulci stuff is great, but The Beyond has always been my favorite. Um, on the Argento side, Opera is my favorite Argento film. I'm waiting for that 4K of Opera. I know it's coming, but I want it real bad, real bad. Same with The Beyond. When there is a nice juicy official 4K Blu-ray of The Beyond, I'll swipe that up too. Um, I did just get over Christmas time, this past Christmas, I got the um, Cemetery Man 4K, Delamorte Delamore. That was a movie that I got an uncut VHS of. That's how I was able to see Brain Dead before it hit American shores as Dead Alive because I imported it. I was already a huge, like, I was a Peter Jackson nut in 1989. I rented Bad Taste and The Toxic Avenger, and I watched them back to back that night, and both of them blew my mind. You know, I'm 12 years old. I'm making these backyard stupid movies. My sensibilities is absurd humor, and splat stick horror and stuff. And then these two movies come along and blow my mind, and I'm like, holy shit! Like this is exactly the type of stuff that I want to do and I like. And so Bad Taste, I was like, who? Peter Jackson. And so through the pages of like Fangoria and Gore Zone, they were talking about Meet the Feebles. And then so I was seeing these behind the scenes pictures of Peter's new film Meet the Feebles, and it's all puppets, and I'm a huge Jim Henson fan, and he's making a bloody, gross puppet horror movie. And I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Um, and so I was following, what Peter Jackson was doing through those magazines. And then as soon as they were offering those uncut versions on VHS, that's how I was seeing those Meet the Feebles and Brain Dead. Um, and then maybe 6 months later, the Live, which was Artisan, which became Lionsgate. Um, they put out the Dead Alive version, um, and I got that too. You know, those were good times, man. Especially being in a town like Wellsville. Like, Wellsville is so small. It's podunk. Um, I was the horror kid. I was the only filmmaker. Uh, and I would drag as many of the weird kids I can find in Wellsville to be a part of my group. I mean, that's how the original Low Budget Pictures group got started in 1991. Was this ragtag group of weirdos? Brought them into my hemisphere and showed them all this stuff and like blew their minds. I was dragging them to horror conventions, and we had a horror club in the backyard, and it was crazy. That is already part of the plan, Clint. Deathbone is the gym teacher of Wellsville Knights. Um, Surprise, but yes, he is. He is the phys ed teacher. He's talking about a character from my films, Deathbone. But, any other questions before I decide to bust this out? Oh, holy shit! Look at that. Now, for some reason, I can see the questions that are popping up. Interesting. What time is it? Is it 4 something? I gotta go soon anyway. But if you have any more questions, throw them out. I'll answer before I go. Almost 4:20. Okay. Yeah, I gotta start making dinner soon. Probably the next 25 minutes. But yeah, any more questions? I'll throw them out. Ooh, look at this. This is fun. Like when I was speaking of. If you guys want to see any of the '80s room, I'll show it off too. But from a line that I had only had a few things from. This is from Wheeled Warriors. The cartoon was way more badass than the toys. The figures that came with the Wheeled Warriors were like these tiny little brown know nothing figures, but the vehicles were badass. And this is one of the um, transports. And I had uh, the command center to the Wheeled Warriors, but about 5 years ago, I ended up selling it again because it wasn't like a line that I really had a lot of. Um, But I did have these guys, and I did have some of the vehicles, and I had the command center. And I used the command center mostly with Voltron figures or Star Wars figures. Um, yeah. Sorry. Somebody just asked a question. What was the question, guys? Who was it from? I'm trying to see if I can find it again, but it's not showing up. Oh, wait. Nice He-Man sword. I had the yellow one that lit up. Ah, yes. Yes. I have the power. Me, Prince Sievage. This was gifted to me by my buddy Chad Too Rad, Chad Ecto Young. Horror Movie Barbecue. Oh, this is good too. This terrible cover, but it's what's inside that counts. You know, this is the Thundercats toy guide. It's pretty wild. It's pretty sweet. Oh, and I finally did. I got all 4 of the Fright features. Which I will not be opening. These guys will go up on the wall. These are the reproductions of that original Fright Features line from Real Ghostbusters. And it's the nostalgia factor. Now, they overproduced this line back then. And so, I mean, I had them. I recently had them until they were destroyed. But so I don't care about having them out of the package. I've got the original run, the first wave of the Real Ghostbusters right over here. Let's see if I can. Yeah. So the ones out of the package are the originals, of course. And then the ones in the package are the reproductions of the originals. تعال تعال كمان تعال تعال. we go. There, you just saw the 80s room. I'll do a separate actual video on that anyway. Okay, guys, so if you guys are, if you want to throw out anything again real quick, I'll answer quick or I'll just answer in the comments. But about 4:45, I gotta go start making dinner. So, what's up? You got anything? Let me know. If not, I will bid you adieu. All right. Well then, we will. We'll see you. Thanks for the folks who did pop on, but for all you guys who check this out afterwards, like I said, comment. I'll answer some questions. Um, and it gave you a good rundown of everything that's going on and what this channel is and why I keep going and all the movie stuff and everything. So, yes, I will see you all next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.